Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, and guess what today is? December 1st, so you know what that means. Today is the beginning of our new beginning of the loving challenge, for us to be more loving in our actions and our thoughts and the way that we treat people and the way that we interact with people. So how did it go? How did day one go for y'all? I'm gonna tell y'all about my day one and what is to come with this challenge. So I was thinking like real hard, heavenly hard. So I was thinking real hard last night about like, okay, so what are we gonna do for 30 days? And I was like, okay, well, what do I struggle with? Like, why is it so hard for me to love difficult people? And I really summarized it down to 4 things. One thing was unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is a huge part in loving someone, because it's really hard for you to love people unconditionally when you're holding unforgiveness in your heart. So that is one challenge that I need to work on, is forgiving people and not holding grudges. Not saying like I'm just this person who basically doesn't forgive anybody, but there are a couple people who I can admit that I just have not forgiven. And I know this because when I see them, I think that I'm good. I think that I'm fine. I think that I'm just pure in all of my ways. But I feel like this, I don't know how to describe it with like being animated, y'all, but it's like this pain right here, that I have this sharp pain, and I know that I haven't forgiven them because I feel this pain. It's like a dagger. And I was like, okay, Jasmine, that's something that you need to work on. So unforgiveness is definitely something that I need to work on when it comes to loving people. Another thing is just letting stuff just fall off my shoulder. Like, oh, you said that. Okay. It flew right off of my shoulder. Slipped right off my shoulder. Like I need to be like a duck. And like how water is, shoom, right off. So basically being unoffended. I need to have an unoffendable mindset. So that's something that I'm going to work on with these next 30 days as well. Another thing, which is the big chinchilla, like this is the big thing that I go through, is being annoyed. I used to get, I'm going to say past tense because I'm working towards a better future. I used to get extremely, extremely annoyed with people, especially when they're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Oh, well, I don't like them to do. Yeah. So that's something that I need to work on. And the last thing that I need to work on to make me a better person in regards to loving people is being more compassionate. I think that I'm a very compassionate person, but when it comes to people who have hurt me, or I feel like they're just difficult to get along with, then that compassion is like it's like blurry. It's blurry for me. So I need to work on being more compassionate. Yes. So those are the 4 things that I'm going to work on within these next 30 days. So now I want you to think about, what are some things that stop you from loving people the way that you should? What stops you from loving anyone unconditionally? What stops you? All right. So now that we have, like, we're starting to think about our triggers, the elements that make us not so loving, we're going to work on turning them into a positive. So with that being said, I'm going to tell you about my day. All right. Today was pretty good because I didn't really have that like much like a strong interaction with people. I mean, I love people, but I didn't have a strong interaction, so I don't really have much negative to say. I wasn't really challenged that much. I went to the airport. I'm actually in Florida visiting my best friend. I'm in her beautiful house. But basically, I was in Florida. Wait, I wasn't in Florida. I was in Delaware. Now I'm in Florida. But anyway, I was in Delaware, and I flew out of Philly airport at 6 o'clock this morning. And I flew Spirit, which I don't know if anyone is familiar, if you guys are familiar with how Spirit works. Basically, like, the seats are really small. And I mean, I'm not the skinniest, but I'm not the fattest person. So like, I slid into that seat. But for like a big dude, like a giant, I had two giants sitting next to me, and they was tall. Like, they was so tall. I want to say that they was at least 6'3", 6'4". I don't know. But y'all should have seen them sitting in these seats next to me. Mind you, the seats are small. Like, literally, I'm sitting in the seat. The seat had like maybe this much room while I'm sitting in it. And the leg room is like your legs right here and like this much. This much space between your kneecap and the seat back pocket. And I'm looking at them. They were like, their legs was kissing the seat back pocket, and I felt so bad for them, but it was really nothing I could do. So when we got up in the air, the other guy that was like in the aisle seat, he moved to an empty seat, but the guy who was sitting next to me was like, he didn't move. I'm like, yo, there's now an empty seat right next to me, and it made me annoyed. Like, I'm just like, why are you still sitting next to me? So then I was like, Jasmine, okay, today is day one. You're working on something. So just breathe and just critically think about maybe the positive or what's really happening in the situation. So next thing I know, this guy opens his legs like so wide, and one of his legs, his left leg, is touching me and is borderline in my seat. And I'm like, yo, like, in my head, I'm like, looking at him like, really, dude? You really gonna sling your giant legs into my seat? And his other leg is in the empty seat. And I'm just like, bruh. But then I had to realize, Jasmine, you still got some space. So it's really not that serious. And is it hurting you? Is it really hurting you? So that's what I dealt with today, but I overcame my annoyance by just critically thinking and trying to put myself in the other person's shoes. Like, yeah. That was day one. All right, so now we're talking about annoyance. Let's get into it. Last night, I was driving home, and I said, you know what? Let me research this thing. So I looked on YouTube, and I found this really good video. And it was basically talking about why you get irritated. And it was so profound. So now I'm going to share it with you. Basically, this guy, he was talking about how he was on a plane with his best friend. And his best friend used to always annoy him. And this one incident, his best friend was talking to the flight attendant and asking the flight attendant for a Coke. He was like, can I have a whole can of Coke? Can I have a full can of Canada Dry? It has to be Canada Dry. Ginger ale. And I want a handful of peanuts, right? So he was looking at his best friend like, yo, you annoying. And his best friend was happy because the flight attendant was like, sure, here you go. Here goes your Coke, full can. Here goes your ginger ale, full can. And here goes your peanuts. So his best friend is eating and drinking his stuff or whatever. So then the flight attendant says, and what would you like, sir? And talks to the guy. So then the guy, who was getting annoyed by his best friend, the guy was like, I want a Coke and I want some peanuts. So the lady cracks open a can, puts some ice in a cup, and pours the can of the Coke to fill the cup, right? Fills the cup. But he doesn't get the whole can. And then she gives him a little tiny bag of peanuts. So now he's sitting there eating it, mad, looking at his best friend, just having a party over there, while he just drinking. He probably parched because most of the time flight attendants don't give you a lot to drink. And he was mad. Then he had to think about it. Why am I so mad? So, he was saying the moral of this story is that annoyance is here to teach you a lesson. Whenever you're irritated, whenever you're annoyed, you're supposed to learn a lesson. It's a lesson and a blessing. You're thinking like, oh, when I'm annoyed, I'm not blessed. When I'm annoyed, I'm not learning anything. But what he said was basically that you either do one of two things when you're annoyed. You get annoyed and you get angry and you either just sit in your anger, or you get annoyed and you just walk away. That's like, you're sitting, you're being annoyed. That's the one thing that you do. You're being annoyed. And then the other thing that you could do is look at it as a lesson, because it really is a lesson. Why you're annoyed is because you see something in that person that you see in yourself, but you don't like it. You see a reflection of who you are, but it's something that's inside of you that you don't like. Or, this is the or, you're annoyed because you are jealous and envious of that person. Ain't that it, y'all? In this situation with the peanuts and the drink, he was really jealous. He didn't realize it at first, but when he thought about it, he was jealous of his best friend because his best friend was asking for what he wanted and he got it. And he says in his own life, he doesn't ask for what he wants. So he was upset because his best friend was able to ask for what he wanted. Even though he was obnoxious with it, he still got what he wanted. So he was saying that, every annoyance is either a reflection of something that you don't like within yourself, or something that you desire within yourself, but you don't have it. So now you're annoyed because you're seeing someone do or have what you desire. And I was like, wow, that's deep. And I'm going to take that to look at life differently. To look at when I'm annoyed, okay, I'm going to realize that, okay, this is something that's annoying me. And now I need to switch it around and see, why is it annoying me? Is this something that I see within myself that I don't like? And if it is, I need to change it. Or it's something that I'm desiring and I don't have it. And now I'm envious. So now I need to figure out how can I make this happen? How can I be better so that I don't have to be jealous of somebody else? I can get it myself. So now we need to figure out what annoys us. So homework today is to write down all of your triggers that you could think of that annoy you. Like, what annoys you? So that's the homework. That's the task for tomorrow, December 2nd. December 2nd, you should already know, like off rip, in general, this is what annoys me. And we will be back again tomorrow for day 2. I'll see y'all soon.